Hi, I'm Mariette, and today I have something very interesting for you and also very helpful. We are going to give you tips and hints on how to perfect your online communication. My guest is Dave Campion, who is highly skilled as a video producer and director. Welcome, Dave.
Thanks, Mariette. It's great to be here.
Dave, your industry has really been turned upside down in the year 2020. You have to rely more and more on online interviewing instead of going to a person to see them or interviewing them on street. How do you do this?
Thanks for that question. It's a great question, Mariette. Yes, we have various platforms that we have to speak to people on. Social distancing now, with everything that's happened in 2020, has stopped us from being able to interview a lot of people in person. A lot of people in the offices don't want us anywhere near them. They would rather just interview online. And so we have to do that. We have to get with that. So what we do is we get there early and we start to prep the person beforehand, and then we record the interview.
Now, that's exactly what I want to hear. What do you tell them before the interview? How do you brief them?
So the first thing is outline. We have a thing called thirds. If you can imagine 1, 2, 3 sort of blocks of the screen, and your eye needs to sit on the upper third. The reason for that is it's very conversational. You get a nice, good view of the person, and they can gesticulate with their hands, and it's very comfortable and very inviting to see somebody being interviewed like that. So the main thing is eyes. The other thing is we want to ask them to make sure that their eye line is correct in terms of their camera lens. So depending on what you use, if you have a webcam, if you use a separate camera, or if you're using straight into a laptop, whatever it may be, we try and make sure that your eye line, that the lens is about the same height as your eye, because too low and you're looking up someone's nostril, and too high, they look like they're looking at a skyscraper. So yeah, we try and keep everything in that sort of sphere.
That's absolutely great. Now, I always say, Dave, I always say to my clients, speakers should be seen and heard. So that's good. Talk to me about how are we going to be seen in our best, as our best on camera, in the best light?
So yes, I would say make sure that you have some really good lighting. I've got some lighting here. They have different bulbs that you can buy in different stores, but the ones that are too yellow, the ones that are really warm, are not that good for lighting, because the walls start to go yellow and it starts to do funny things with people's skin tones. So the lovely warm light, but these little webcams don't really like them too much. They prefer daylight if they can possibly get them. And so if you can be near a window, first prize. But if you're on a dark day like today, I have to use lighting to get this sort of situation. The other thing is backlighting. That is, you can see the Venetian blind behind me is closed. I'm not using the daylight because otherwise I would get silhouetted. I would be darkened out and my background will be brighter than me. Not a good idea. You want to be seen, most definitely.
Excellent, excellent. And how are we going to make sure that we're heard properly?
So yes, great question. A lot of the new laptops and that out there and desktops, they've got great internal microphones. Some of them have got more than one, so that they've got lovely tone and everything. My preference would be, if you can afford it, to get something like this, which is a shotgun mic. It sits, I'm just going to leave it in there, but you just have it just slightly out of camera, and you can see how close it can be to you, just out of camera, and it gives that lovely warm and rich tone that's so inviting for people. The other thing that you can do is have a lapel mic or something to that effect, and that goes through to a device that changes it from audio to digital. That gets sucked into your computer, and your video conference platform will recognize that as your audio, and you just check that, and you'll get the much better audio than what you would normally get, and you'd have that warm, rich sound.
That's very important. A speaker's voice and the quality of his or her voice already attracts attention. Thanks for that good tip. Now, what about the $1 million question, the background? Because I believe some people I see are against a plain wall, and most of us have bookshelves behind us. What would you recommend?
Well, Mariette, I'd recommend the background that you have right now. Lovely flowers, you've got a bookcase, there's a lot of detail that's really, really nice. Just like my background, I try not to keep anywhere close to a wall if I can possibly help it, just to give a bit of depth. The other thing is white walls, an absolute no-no. In television, they have a saying, the only time you put somebody against the white wall is when you're about to be shot. So please do not, whatever you do, it looks terrible to get stuck behind a white wall. I understand if there's only a little nook and cranny that you have in your home right now because of COVID and everything else that's been going on, that might be the best that you have. But if you can, try and put a picture or something like that just to break the wall up if you can, just because, a white wall is just terrible. And it's very plain.
Sorry, Dave, to interrupt, but something interesting that you've created are various levels. It's almost as if you've definitely helped to the eye to create depth. How did you do that?
So yes, I'm sitting probably in the middle of my room, and so that gives me a bit of depth. So my computers and everything are further back, and I've got some other detail in the back, and it just keeps me separated from my background. That's the key. Try and separate yourself from the background, and then make sure that you look through your lens.
I want you to notice what Dave said. Look through your lens and not at your lens. Dave, explain why you're saying that.
Excellent. Yes. Look through the lens. The reason is because when you look at a flat lens, there's nobody there and you can get lost. And it's just like, what do I say? But if you look through the lens and you think of an audience just behind the lens, then the camera is not such a big thing at all. You're just talking to another person and you're keeping it conversational. Then you can project and you can really give a great performance and a great delivery.
Dave, that was really interesting. I don't want to say goodbye to you because there's so much to talk about, but leave us with one final tip that you think is probably the most important thing when you're on camera.
I think the main thing is to make sure, if you've got a video conferencing platform, that you can move different people around. I think the key is trying to get the person that you're going to be speaking to as close to your camera as possible. Because often we see in video conferencing, the person doesn't realize it, but they're talking to the person's picture as normal, and they're talking like this, and they're talking, and it just, you're not engaging. So engage with the people, engage with them as best as you can. The other thing I would say is make sure one of these things is turned off, or at least have it on silent mode, because the notifications and that's often, you're talking to somebody and you go, sorry, just 2 seconds. It's not professional.
Do you mean that do not disturb setting? Can we use that?
Disturb. Yeah. Exactly, correct. So if you can have something, do not disturb, even better, turn your phone completely off, then you can engage completely with the audience and they have your full attention.
That's good. And just a last little thing. I remember that my director always preached and hammered on energy.
Yes, energy. It's what keeps people engaged, it's what keeps people entertained, and it what keeps people looking down back at you and engaging with you and understanding what it is that you're trying to say.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Lovely chatting to you. That was Dave Campion, who joined us from Surrey in England. He is a video producer and director, and he gave us some wonderful tips on how to talk online. If you need some more information, please write to me at mariette@myvoiceuk.com. Until next time, goodbye.
Post your questions on LinkedIn to Mariette Richardson or email them to mariette@myvoiceuk.com and include a photo. Or ask your question in person in a short video clip. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more tips and say goodbye to performance uncertainty.